Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Let's start with Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Gira Vardhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Gira Vardhari Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Agyan Timirdhasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathunitam Tam Sajivam Sadhuvetam Savadhutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatu Rehascha Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnava Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasthaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasi Go Bhaktivedanta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Kroti Vachalam Pam Lagyate Grim Yat Kirpataham Mandishi Guru Nitaranam Paramananda Matam Shaitaneshram Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasmit Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nasta Presha Abdureshya Nityam Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. Okay, so thank you once again. We shall continue where we left off last time. I think we're on verse 15. So we'll continue with that. And last time we were talking about how, about living. It's not quantity of life, it's quality of life, it's what you do with the amount of life you have left. And good examples are Parikshit Maharaj, 7 days left. Katanga Maharaj only had a moment left. just a few minutes, and what they did with that time is formidable. So we learn from them. So they were taking shelter of the Lord in one form or the other, whether it's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or in form of Narayan or in Krishna himself. And we have good examples of Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and Parikshit Maharaj, Khatvanga Maharaj, and Draupadi as well in time of problems. What do? Not necessarily time of death, but time of problems. And this is what Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is all about. This is why it's so special. Because it's not talking only about death, it's talking about when the personalities, they have problems, what do they do? How do they handle those problems? So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is not saying that, personalities and they don't have any problems. They all had problems. But how do they deal with them? They all took shelter of the Lord at the time. You don't reject the Lord, you go even closer to the Lord. And we know all these personalities, so don't need to go over what Draupadi did when she called out Krishna, and what Dhruv Maharaj did, and what Prahlad Maharaj did. All these personalities, what did they do at the time of trouble? And we can learn from that. And we take the shelter of the holy name, because we're not calling out like Krishna is here, or we can't see them. So we in this age we take the shelter of the holy name, and which also means that we don't blaspheme the devotees. So we talk about 10 offenses when we are chanting. You can only chant nicely if we follow. We don't break the 10 or we don't do 10 offenses. So Nama Prad, Vaishnav Ninda, Vaishnav Aparad, and Seva Aparad. We've got to be careful about all these things. If you want to advance, if you want to chant nicely, if you want Krishna to take notice, then you have to make sure we're not doing offenses. And we just take the shelter of the holy name by trying to chant the best we can and make sure we're following everything nicely. So let's continue. Number 15. Hare Krishna. So number 15. Antakale tu Purisha Agat Gat Sadvashaha Chindayad Asang Shastrena Spriham Dehenu Ye Chattam. So Antakale, at the last stage of life, tu but Purisha, a person, Agat, having arrived, Gat Sadvasaha, without any fear of death, Chindayat, must cut off, Asanga, non-attachment, Shastrena, by the weapon of Spriham, all desires, Dehe, in the matter of the material tabernacle, Anu, pertaining, all that, also, them. So at the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all the attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it, and all desires thereof. This is very similar to chapter 15 that we've been reading in the Purushottam month. You cut off your attachments, with this sword that's recommended by Lord Krishna himself. Just cut off all the attachments, and that's the only way you'll get to destination. If you have desires, then you'll come back and enjoy them or suffer them again and again. So this sort of detachment is very, very important. The foolishness of gross materialism is that people think of making a permanent settlement in this world, although it is a settled fact that one has to give up everything here that has been created by valuable human energy. Great statesmen, scientists, philosophers, etc., who are foolish without any information of spirit soul, think that this life of a few years only is all in all, and that there is nothing more after death. So you don't have to be like very intellectual, you don't have to be very smart, have a high IQ. You can have all that and still, not, you can still be an atheist, and a lot of them are atheists. They don't have time or even any belief, any faith in God. The cleverer the person, the less they want to take shelter of the Lord. They have too much confidence in themselves. This poor fund of knowledge, even in the so-called learned circles of the world, is killing the vitality of human energy, and the awful result is being keenly felt. And yet the foolish materialistic men don't care about what is going on in the next life. So, we have very developed countries, countries on, like America, who are on top of the rung. You're not allowed to even discuss religion there. They don't allow you to discuss religion. And when even if they, for some reason, they write the word God, they write it with a small g, not like we would write God with a capital G. They write it with a small g. They just do not consider God in any shape or form. It's just a normal word to them. So this poor phenomenon, even in the right, sorry, and yet the foolish materialist men don't care about what is going to happen in the next life. The preliminary instruction in the Bhagavad-Gita is that one should know that the identity of the individual living entity is not lost even after the end of this present body, which is nothing but an outward dress only. As one changes an old garment, so the individual living being also changes his body, and this change of body is called death. Death is therefore a process of changing the body at the end of the duration of the present life. So this is material body, it's a shell without the soul. You just need to get rid of it. Either you bury it 6 foot under, or you burn it, which is like more popular than any other process, because it's just a shell, and then you get a new body that will grow and grow to full adulthood. The best type of body is a spiritual body, which is obtained by those who go back to the kingdom of God or enter the realm of Brahman. In the second chapter of this canto, this matter will be broadly discussed, but as far as the change of body is concerned, one must prepare now for the next life. Foolish people attach more importance to the present temporary life, and thus the foolish leaders make appeals to the body and bodily relations. Excuse me. The bodily relations extend not only to this body but also to the family members, wife, children, society, country, and so many other things, which end at the end of life. That's it. The relationship finished. And we make such a song and dance about everything, but once we're gone, we start a new chapter, somewhere else, new family. After death, one forgets everything about the present body relations. We have a little experience of this at night when we go to sleep. While sleeping, we forget everything about this body and bodily relations. Although this forgetfulness is a temporary situation for only a few hours, death is nothing but sleeping for a few months in order to develop another time of bodily engagement. So it's shown as engagement. The soul is encaged like a bird in a cage, which we are awarded by the law of nature according to our aspiration. Therefore, one has only to change the aspiration during the course of this present body. It's just simple. It's a science. Simple as that. Whatever you aspire for, Krishna fulfills all desires. He'll give you that body. It's simple. Therefore, one only has to change the aspiration during the course of this present body, and for this there's a need of training in the current duration of human life. We cannot do anything without training. Somebody has to train us. We cannot train ourselves, because we try to train ourselves, or we try to read the scriptures by ourselves, we come to our own conclusions, and they could be totally wrong. We need to go to someone who who has the knowledge, who has seen what is right and wrong. What's the right conclusion? We've seen the conclusion. So this training can be begun at any stage of life, or even a few seconds before death. But the usual procedure is for one to get the training from very early life, from the stage of brahmacharya, and gradually progress to grasta, vanprastha, and sannyasa orders of life. The institution which gives such training is called one ashrama dharma, or the system of Sanatana Dharma, the best procedure for making the human life perfect. One is therefore required to give up the attachment to family or social or political life just at the age of 50 years, if not earlier, and the training in the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa ashrams is given for preparation of the next life. Although we don't necessarily follow this strictly now, if not early, and the training is foolish materialists in the garb of leaders of the people in general stick to family affairs without attempting to cut off relations with them, and thus they become victims of nature's law and get gross bodies again according to their work. Such foolish leaders may have some respect from the people at the end of life, but that doesn't mean that such leaders will be immune to the natural laws under which everyone is tightly bound by the hands and feet. The best thing is, therefore, that everyone voluntarily give up family relations by transferring the attachment from family, society, country, and everything thereof to the devotional service of the Lord. It is stated herein that one should give up all desires of family attachment. One must have a chance for better desires. Otherwise, there is no chance of giving up such morbid desires. Desire is the concomitant factor of the living entity. The living entity is eternal, and therefore his desires, which are natural for a living being, are also eternal. One cannot therefore stop desiring, but the subject matter for desires can be changed. So we don't stop desiring, we just change our desires. So one must develop the desire for returning home, back to Godhead, and automatically the desires for material gain, material honor, and material popularity will diminish in proportion to the development of devotional service. So this is the beauty of spiritual life, is that you don't necessarily consciously have to give up these material attachments. The more you are connected to Krishna, the more those attachments take place. People might not even notice, your family might not even notice that you are detached. But when you're serving Krishna, then automatically this internally, externally you might not see them, but internally you are detached. So it's more about internal, what's happening inside you is more important. So a living being is meant for service activities, and his desires are centered around such a service attitude. Beginning from the top executive head of the state down to the insignificant pauper in the street, all are rendering some sort of service to others. The perfection of such a service attitude is only attained simply by transferring the desire of service from matter to spirit, Satan to God. So Srila Prabhupada just explaining about attachments and detachments, like we mentioned here by Shukadeva Goswami, and then Srila Prabhupada has expanded on that in his purport, which is like relevant to us. How we can, we should just increase our devotion. We can live in family life, that's not a problem, but increase our devotion service. There's 9 types of services. We increase that, do more chanting, do more hearing, do more kirtanam, serve the deities, There's five things mentioned of the 64 requirements in Bhagavatam. It mentions 5 things that we do. We take association with devotees. We hear Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, do our chanting, we do deity service, we eat prasad, like that. These are 5 things that are mentioned as the most important. So we can serve in that way, and the more we serve, the more we become attached to them, and our material attachments automatically reduce. So let's see if we have anything. Cut off material desires. We should be striving for acquiring our original body, not another material body. For that, we need to prepare starting right now, not when we're really old. Aspirations, direct them to Krishna. Attachments, direct them to Krishna. Desires, direct them to Krishna. Desire everything and direct everything to Krishna that is required. Srila Prabhupada mentions. So that's it. Whatever we're doing, keep doing, but do it for Krishna. Just everything directed towards Him. So we can still desire, but desires should be for Krishna's service, Krishna's blessings. 16. Grihat pravarajito dira punyatirth chala pulatvaha shuchao vikt aseno vidivat kalipit asane. So grihat, from one's home, pravarajitaha, having gone out, dhira, self-controlled, punya, pious, tirath, sacred place, jal, aplutaha, fully washed, shuchau, cleansed, vivikte, solitary, asinaha, seated, vidivat, according to regulations, kalpit, having done, asane, on a sitting place. One should leave home and practice self-control. In a sacred place, he should bathe regularly and sit down in a lonely place, duly sanctified. We're not capable of doing that. So, and plus it's mentioned that you don't leave home, half-baked, because you'll start all over again what you left behind. So this is like pure Kaljug mentality, pure Kaljug body. We're not capable of doing that, but this is the ideal, or that's how it was done before. But now we're not able to do it. So our way is to just detach ourselves by rendering devotional service. To prepare oneself for the better next life, one must get out of one's so-called home. So mentally, we do everything mentally now, not physically. The system of Varnashram Dharma or Sanatana Dharma prescribes retirement from family encumbrance. Who is following Varnashram Dharma? There is no such thing as Varnashram Dharma. Our Varnashram Dharma is only followed in the temple services. It's not followed. We just, when we need a job, we don't say, oh, by the way, I'm a Kshatriya, so I can only take a Kshatriya job, I won't take any other job. You take whatever you can, if it pays well, right? And plus it's within our regulations, it's not breaking a regulation like selling alcohol or selling meat. We avoid, we have some regulations that we definitely need to follow. Otherwise, you take whatever job we can that will earn a living, keep a roof over our head, keep us comfortable. Or prescribes retirement from family encumbrances as early as possible after one has passed 50 years of age. Modern civilization is based on family comforts, the highest standard of amenities, and therefore after retirement everyone expects to live a very comfortable life in a well-furnished home decorated with fine ladies and children. Without any desire to get out of such a comfortable home, high government officers and ministers stick to their prized posts until death, and they neither dream nor desire to get out of homely comforts. Bound by such hallucinations, materialistic men prepare various plans for a still more comfortable life, but suddenly cruel death comes without mercy and takes away the great plan maker against his desire. forcing him to give up the present body for another body. Such a plant maker is thus forced to accept another body in one of the 8.4 million species of life, according to the fruits of work he has performed. In the next life, persons who are too much attached to family comforts are generally awarded lower species of life on account of sinful acts performed during a long duration of sinful life, and thus all the energy of the human life is spoiled. Yeah, so that was a wasted time. Then isn't it having a human body and then you go into the lower species of life? Basically, you failed. Not did you only fail to go back home, you also failed to keep your human body. That is like a minus mark, to be honest. In the next life, persons who are too much attached to family are generally awarded lower species of life on account of sinful acts performed during a long duration of sinful life, and thus all the energy of the human life is spoiled. In order to be saved from the danger of spoiling the human form of life and being attached to unreal things, one must take warning of death at the age of 50, if not earlier. The principle is that one should take it for granted that the death warning is already there, even prior to the attainment of 50 years of age. Yeah, because we don't really know whether we live till 50. And thus, at any stage of life, one should prepare himself for a better next life. The system of Sanatana Dharma institution is so made that the follower is trained for the better next life without any chance that the human life will be spoiled. The holy places all over the world are meant for the residential purposes of retired persons getting ready for better next life. Intelligent persons must go there at the end of life, and for that matter after 50 years of age, to live a life of spiritual regeneration for the sake of being freed from family detachments, which is considered to be the shackle of material life. One is recommended to quit home just to get rid of material attachment, because one who sticks to family life until death cannot get rid of material attachment, and as long as one is materially attached, one cannot understand spiritual freedom. One should not, however, become self-complacent simply by leaving home or by creating another home at the holy place. See, this is the problem. So one should not, however, become self-complacent simply by leaving home or by creating another home at the holy place, because this is what we're going to do, because mentally we're not ready. We think we can leave home and we'll be like meditating like the rishis, but you won't. You'll be doing doing whatever you're doing here. One should not ever become self-complacent simply by leaving home, by creating another home at the holy place, either lawfully or unlawfully. Many persons leave home and go to such holy places, but due to bad association, again become family men by illicit connection with the opposite sex. The illusory energy of matter is so strong that one is apt to be under such illusion at every stage of life, even after quitting one's happy home. So the illusory energy is there, even at the Dham is there. It's everywhere, you cannot get away from it. And our mind is also with us, you can't escape from the mind either. Therefore, it is essential that one practice self-control by celibacy without the least desire for sex indulgence. For a man desiring to improve the condition of his existence, sex indulgence is considered suicidal or even worse. Therefore, to live apart from the family means to become self-controlled in regard to all sense desires, especially sex desires. So that's what, it's not like you leave your home, go and live in the Dham, and you will go back home. No. Srila Prabhupada mentions here, to live apart from family life from age of 50 or earlier means to become self-controlled in regard to sense desires. So we cut off the sense desires, not cut off, you leave the family and in struggle, especially sex desires. The method is that one should have a duly sanctified sitting place made of straw, deerskin, and carpet. Well, we have carpet, and thus sitting on it, one should chant the holy name of the Lord without offense, as prescribed above. The whole process is to drag the mind from material engagements and fix it on the lotus feet of the Lord. This simple process alone will help one advance to the high stage of spiritual success. So whatever procedure Srila Prabhupada has given us, we follow that. You do a chanting, we do some deity service as well, do some kirtan, read Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We do all these processes nicely and try and minimize our offenses. And Srila Prabhupada said that is enough. That will be enough, because the holy name itself is powerful enough to take you back home. But we got to stop doing nama aparadh. We got to try and get better and better at chanting. So this was 16. So self-control, all sense desires is better than leaving home and family. Okay, so that's the important thing. You leave home mentally, you stay home, but mentally you leave home. You leave home, you go somewhere. At least at home, your family look after you if you fall ill. Who's going to look after you if you fall ill away from home? So leave home, look after them, let them look after you. Control the senses and focus the mind on the Lord. So, and this is Kali Yuga requirement. Principle is the same, but the details have to change as our bodies change and mentality changes. See if we can fit another one. Okay, I think we can do it. Abhyasen manasa shuddham trivrid brahmaksharam param mano yaches jit shavaso brahma bijam avismaran. Abhyasat, one should practice manasa by the mind, shuddham, sacred, trivrit, composed of the three, brahm akshram, transcendental letters, param, the supreme, mana, mind, yachat, get under control, jit shapasaha, by regulating the breathing air, brahm, absolute, bijam, seed, avismaran, without being forgotten. So after sitting in the above manner as mentioned in the previous verse, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters Om, and by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. Omkar, or the Pranav, is the seed of transcendental realization, and it is composed of the three transcendental letters Om, A-U-M. By its chanting by the mind in connection with the breathing process, which is transcendental but mechanical way of getting into trance, as devised by the experience of great mystics, one is able to bring the mind, which is materially absorbed, under control. This is a way of changing the habit of the mind. The mind is not to be killed. Mind or desire cannot be stopped, but to develop a desire to function for spiritual realization. So this mind is so powerful, even after death is still active. And even at the time of death, the mind is still active. It never stops. Mind never stops. And if it's not your friend, then it can cause havoc in your head. The mind is not to be killed. Mind cannot be stopped, but develop a desire to function for spiritual realization. The quality of engagement by the mind has to be changed. The mind is the pivot of the active sense organs, and as such, if the quality of thinking, feeling, and willing is changed, naturally the quality of actions by the instrumental senses will also change. And we can see that this quality of thinking, feeling, and willing just by association. Whatever kind of people we associate with, we start thinking, feeling, willing like that. It's just so simple. The mind, although Krishna says, I am the mind, but the mind, it can easily be converted to think in a different way, different style, different form, and feel happiness in different ways, and take action in different ways. So association is very strong. We become different person according to our association. So Omkar is the seed of all transcendental sound, and it is only the transcendental sound which can bring about the desired change of the mind and the senses. Even a mentally deranged man can be cured by treatment of transcendental sound. But we follow the Mahamantra. That's the transcendental sound we follow. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the Pranava Omkar has been accepted as a direct literal representation of the Supreme Absolute Truth. One who is not able to chant directly the holy name of the Lord as recommended above can easily chant the Pranava Omkara. So that's recommended for them. If you cannot chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you can start with Om, but we should be chanting the Mahamantra. This Omkar is a note of address such as O my Lord, just says Om Hari Om, means O my Lord, the Supreme Personality Godhead. But we want to say, O Lord, O Mother, please give us your devotional service. This Omkar is a note of address such as O my Lord, just as Om Hari Om means O my Lord, Supreme Personality Godhead. As we have explained before, the Lord's holy name is identical with the Lord himself, so also is Omkar, but persons who are unable to realize the transcendental personal form or the name of the Lord on account of the imperfect senses, in other words, the neophytes, are trained to the practice of self-realization by this mechanical process of regulating the breathing function and simultaneously repeating the Omkar or Pranav within the mind. As we have several times expressed, since the transcendental name, form, attributes, pastime, etc. of the Personality Godhead are impossible to understand with the present material senses, it is necessary that through the mind, the center of sensual activities, such transcendental realization be set into motion. The devotees directly fix their minds on the person of Absolute Truth, but one who is unable to accommodate such personal features of the Absolute is disciplined in impersonality to train the mind to make further progress. So, but anyway, we stick to our Mahamantra, because that's where we are now, chanting the Mahamantra. We don't go back, we make more progress. We chant the Mahamantra and work on the offenses that we may be causing to the Vaishnavas, to the holy name itself, by not being attentive when we're chanting, and breaking the 10 offenses, and also seva prad when we're serving, we serve from the heart, and also when we're serving the deities, we do make a lot of mistakes, so we just ask for forgiveness. So like that, but we just try to be more and more mindful. It's very difficult. Mind does drift off a lot, and but we just keep trying. And Krishna wants to see your sincerity in doing the not expecting perfection. We're not perfect beings. Nobody's expecting perfection from us. They're just expecting that you are endeavoring to become better. That's all. Hare Krishna. So, Pundikaksh Prabhu, please give us your realizations.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'm very sorry. My attention was not there, Prabhuji, today.
Thank
Just
you for my
because
point.
I need to write a leave letter for my daughter, so focus was on the time. Sorry for that. But little things which I heard from the session now, or like association is very key. That has impact on our thinking, willing, and feeling. That's why yesterday I was reading something from Canto 7, where it mentioned that literature is there in the world. Many literatures are there. You have newspaper, magazine, and many things are there. But those literature which doesn't provide you spiritual elevation or spiritual benefit, that's absolutely of no use.
Sure.
And any discussions we engage with the people in material or any arguments also, they will not give you any result as such. So better avoid such association if you really want to progress in spirituality. That's all, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we do so much reading, read so much literature, but what do we gain from it? Probably more attachments than anything else. Thank you, Prabhu. Kiran Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Of course, we missed the last few weeks, and I'm happy that we're all back together again. And I think the key message is there's so much in the Bhagavatam, the Gita, and in our Shastra that we have to take the quality rather than the quantity. And each one of the verses have key points and elements to it. And so if we try to force feed ourselves with too much, we may not get the essence. We may just drown in all the baggage. It's important that this is a realization for us that inevitable reality is there for all of us, and that's death. And most of the world is fearful of death, but we have to become abaya, fearless, such that we remove all those distractions associated with death. And those distractions are taken away by becoming detached from the material world. That includes family, children, your Lamborghini. And we have to attach to Krishna because that is the only way and only way out. Foolish people and foolish men are too attached to their material hankerings and their country and their egos. The best type of body is the spiritual body, because that's the only thing that will go with you to the next stage. Parikshit sets a great example that in 7 days he was being trained to meet his maker, to embrace Krishna. The Sanatan Dharam teaches us this opportunity and gives us the way forward. And being a sannyas doesn't mean to say you've got to detach and give up all family connections. You give them up. You're still in the world, but be of the world, but not in the world. And it is, you can be a sannyas, but still have that family connection and serve them with responsibility and commitment. And as we would serve God, as we would serve the other Vaishnavas and everybody that we come into contact with. And that's it. It's, this is the beauty of what we've been teaching in Sanatan Dharam. There's no lower or higher. Everybody has the propensity for a great life. And the greatest life can be through that devotional service. And that devotional service, when we leave those 7 gates and then we meet Jay and Vijay at the last gate, they will let you in, unlike the 4 Kumaras. And hence, we have to be very self-controlled, very mind-controlled. The mind has to become your friend, not your enemy. I know those 3 monkeys reside in us. We should be hearing no evil, seeing no evil, and certainly not talking any evil. We have to be mentally prepared for the journey ahead. We can leave the home, but we can be still controlled within the home. And those mind meditation are important because the mind meditation will give you that strength to continue on this spiritual journey. It is not easy because daily we're bombarded by the external. The senses, the cognition, and the mind have to become your best friend. Simple. Live simply. Live in sattva. Become a sad guru. Become an aligned person, just like the divine, and hence that transcendental journey can be made with grace. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Okay, Hina Mataji, Hari Hari Bol.
Haribol, Hare Krishna everyone. Hope you're okay. Hope you're well. Yeah, Prabhu just made some very nice points. Just on this topic of fearfulness. And for me, what I'm understanding, the only way to rid this fearfulness of death is by hearing and chanting, to remember Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and giving up our desires of attachment to our family, society, etc. And I think the fear that we have as living entities is because of the misidentification with this temporary body. We've forgotten, we forget where that we are eternal sparks and we belong to Krishna. And Krishna is the proper object of meditation. I think it's so easy, especially talking about myself here, for like my mind focuses on so many temporary things, materialistic issues, problems in life, that it's such a waste of my mind, my thinking power. But the proper use of it, the proper use of my mind is to remember Krishna. And then this subject around death, and death is, as I think we all know, the ultimate test. And that preparation starts now. The exam preparation starts now during life. And as you've already nicely mentioned, Prabhu, it's all about adding more of our sadhana, increasing our sadhana, increasing our practice. It needs to be daily, and to build up our sadhana, make our sadhana strong. And we really can't go too wrong if we are hearing about Krishna, speaking about him, remembering him, and gradually throughout life, then we should hopefully achieve our ultimate goal of life, which is to obtain his loving service. So yeah, those were just some of my points. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Andaji. Yeah, want to increase service and want to improve the quality of our service, and we want to increase the emotions in our service as well. And that's like one thing I can definitely say for myself, that the emotions are missing. Krishna wants to see emotions. When we give our mind to him, that's when the emotions will come, because mind is not even there. How can the emotions be present, right? We have to give him a heart and mind, and then the emotion. He wants to see that we are sincere through. You see that through our emotions, that we sincerely want him and we want to connect to him, and then he will respond in ye yatha mam prapadante. Otherwise, if we just do it mechanically, it really doesn't mean anything, to be honest. We're just doing what everybody else is doing, or just doing what somebody told us, just doing like we're just following a process, but there is no meaningful relationship. Krishna likes relationships. This is what he wants, proper relationships. So yeah, work on our emotions, work on our quality by being mindful. So Purnikash Prabhu say, in my reading yesterday, Prabhupada mentioned about two kinds of people. One, thinking about death and consider death as illusion, not real. And two, second one is the people who think about life as one chance, just enjoy as much as one can. Both of them are mentioned as fools. Thank you, Prabhu. So just give me a second to turn just my camera. I don't know what's happened. Seem to have moved. Okay, I think it's probably about right. Okay, thank you. Right, just stop that. And we have Puri Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandrat Pranam.
Srimati.
Yes, in verse 17, it talks about the word Om, which is a sound representation. We can use that to purify our mind. And again, we are reminded what is the purpose of human life is to attain, to serve Krishna. So we can go back to Krishna. And the devotion service is the only way. It can be done by attachment and talks about like what is the purpose of this life. So we have to understand what is our purpose. So we should not be scared of death, because death is taking us closer to Krishna. So we have to see that after that, because our aim is to go back to Krishna, to serve him. So when we understand that, then there's no fear of death. And these relations, these are all temporary, but we can't control our desires. We have to just change material desires into spiritual desires, and material attachment to Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada, he has given us 4 regulative principles which make it easy. Chant 16 rounds, no meat eating, and disciplined life, so which all helps. So again, talks about sorry, I'm just mixing everything. Everything's jumping in my mind. Association, importance of associations. I was thinking at the weekend we had association of Atul Krishna Das Prabhu, which when we have association of pure devotees, it just takes us to a different level, really, because we are so inspired. So it was like when Prabhu was Sunday, my heart was saying, I just didn't want it to stop, because we just want to hear about Krishna. It was so blissful. So that's the importance. And then I was listening to his other class, and if we have an association of a bad person, he was giving an example of if you don't drink and you're joining your friends who are drinking, first day you'll think, oh, what they're doing. Second day, third day, fourth day, it becomes like a normality, and after a few days you'll think, oh, maybe I can have a little bit, which is true. So that's how people, so it's same. So when we're having good association, we are inspired by seeing, oh yeah, that's really nice, and it pleases our heart as well. So I remember when I listened to Sri Vrindavan Prabhu first time, I was so happy to hear, and I was this is true love for Krishna, because Prabhu was not stopping, despite the time's gone, he was supposed to finish at 2 and he was still carrying on nearly till 3. So I thought, this is the true love for Krishna, so that really inspired me, and that's when I started coming. So yes, association is very, very important, and we're very fortunate what Srila Prabhupada has given us. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we're reading about Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, how they gave up everything. They were so rich, and then they were just living in the forest, and from under one tree to the other tree, not even one fixed tree. So that is complete surrender. But we can't do that, like you said. We in Kali Yuga, we don't have to leave home, but we just have to prepare living in the comfort of our own home. So we're still very fortunate that we don't have to give up, but still we have to reduce our desires and give up sense gratification, and controlled mind. And Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says controlled mind is our friend and uncontrolled mind is our enemy. So it's all about our thoughts. What sort of thoughts? So when we are reading Srila Prabhupada's books, then we'll automatically have good thoughts. So that's the importance of, so because before we used to think why there's so much emphasis on book distribution, but now when we read, because otherwise I wouldn't have known about the Goswamis, how much they've done for us. So it's very important to read Srila Prabhupada's books. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. I don't know what's happening with my camera. It just keeps moving by itself. It's not me. It's just moving me up and down for some reason. Okay, Ajay Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's maybe this, I don't know, Zoom setting perhaps might need to look at that, like a focus, something like that. Yeah, so the thing with these verses is kind of just pointing out to us that you need the knowledge in order to get that detachment, that renunciation. And from there, once you have that renunciation, then you can make spiritual advancement. And that's often the mistake people make. They think that if I become detached, I'm spiritually advanced. and then I'm ready to go back to Godhead, and I've achieved what I need to achieve. It's not the attachment is just allowing you to actually just begin really actually make some real progress. You have to then actually really up your worship. You have to actually understand what the instructions are and put them to use. So serving the deities, serving the devotees, chanting, all these processes are there to help you actually make real advancement. Like Prabhupada wanted not just for he wanted for everyone. It wasn't just for those in India. He wanted the whole world to make that spiritual, become spiritually enlightened, actually become focused in the real purpose of life. So making use of this human life, this opportunity to actually engage in one's natural constitution, and that's often the issue, that people do get distracted, and it's understandable because there are a lot of distractions out there. Just that you have to understand that. I'll give the example of Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Like, he understood that people aren't going to go to the forests, or, to seek out saintly people. So you have to make the temples and so on a bit more attractive, so that would attract the general public to come to them, so they could advise them. So it's that understanding that you have to use everything in the service of Krishna. That the true Yukta Vairagya should say that when you understand that everything belongs to Krishna, I am his servant, I'm going to use everything in his service, then you are no longer materially attached. You're not, the bondage isn't there. You're just his servant, you're just using everything in his service. That's the kind of mentality we're trying to develop, where we understand that we're not the enjoyer, Krishna is the enjoyer. We hear this term a lot, but actually putting into practice is another thing. Until we actually do that, then we actually started to show some real advancement. Before that, there's still that sense of, Krishna, you're looking for material blessings then, really, rather than actual spiritual advancement. You've got to make a distinction, understand that actually I'm trying to please Krishna, please his devotees. I'm not trying to just please myself. We can get to that mindset, then we can make real progress, as opposed to just selfish foolishness, which will keep us bound in this material world. So just serve Krishna. That's always got to better remember that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Rani?
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, the Bhagavatam verses remind us again and again that take the warning of death very seriously. You will say a lot, you will read a lot, but when will you understand? Bhagavatam is asking us again and again that why these warnings are coming through these verses. It's just telling us that this is all temporary, and we think that this is permanent and this is everything, and the mind is going to help you. If you want attachments, mind will give you lots of attachments, and if you will aspire for devotional service, then you can make friends with your mind. It's all upon the person. It's all upon the jiva. Where do they want to put their desires? Which path? And all the knowledge is coming in the verses one after another, but the message is same. Prepare for the ultimate test. Be aware of it and avoid the wrong association, and don't give much time to the wrong thoughts and the wrong association. Just leave from there. And if you stay longer, and then we have seen what effect it has on our minds and our thinking for the rest of the day, it does affect you, and sometimes you have to prepare yourself again to come to your central point of sadhana, where you aspire to be. So yes, we have to practice, we have to use the matter in the service of the Lord. At the moment, our problem is we are using the matter in our own service, and that is what is like a barrier between us and Lord. So Lord is testing us all the time. He is going to test us till the end, and the mind is going to be active till the end. is also a very worrying thing, that even when the senses will be almost dead, the body will be almost dead, the mind will still test us, that are we going to go towards material side or Krishna. Because like they say that those moments are the vital moments which we actually decide for ourselves. We make our own destiny. We are practicing at the moment, and at that moment, at the ultimate moment of test, Krishna will be watching us, that let me see what you've been doing all these lives, and particularly that life which we'll be living at that moment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Thank you so much for your input, and hopefully we've understood this topic, a very important topic for us, because it's so easily misunderstood as well. You know, people think we have to leave home, we have to go to the forest or something like that, and we have to stop everything by age of 50. But Srila Prabhupada has made it so easy for us. He says, you know, don't need to do all that. You just be detached, mentally detached, and more attached to devotional service. And that's, you know, it's so simple if you want to follow the process. So difficult if you don't want to follow it. So as simple as that. So thank you, and we'll catch up again on Friday. And so, Granth Rashmi Bhagavad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Prem Anande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.